guys, gals bought those records, and it was like, holy fucking shit, this is good shit. I gotta keep this safe. Now it's like, I can delete it.
HELLCAST. For Reaper Metal Productions, this is HELLCAST. Don't smash a like. Don't be a subscriber. Just go to ReaperMetalProductions.com and check out the music, the podcast episodes, and that will actually be doing something helpful. I'm happy to be doing this right now, and that is giving
Lighting
a cock to somebody that hasn't been here in a while. We want to give a shout out to Jared, who is over on the Reaper Metal Patreon. So Eddie, give that a good solid blow.
Oh, I blew it. Oh, now you got a cock ring.
Wow, that was the longest dick candle blow we have had on the show.
It was just stupidity.
So I hear that you need some help. You need some therapy. You're going through some things. You got some Iron Maiden, planes, corrosion of conformity records that you want to buy.
Yes.
Death metal records that you want to sell.
There's a lot of stuff.
Shirts that you want to acquire.
Yeah, no, not acquire the shirts. It's like I have piles of shirts that just sit there.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, fuck, I don't want them to just sit here. I want someone to wear them.
Right.
Because, you get obsessive. You're like, oh, you're at the concert. And you're like, I bought every fucking shirt that this band, whether it was Satan or whomever, not necessarily saying on the booger, it's all the Satan shirts, but, it's like, I don't know how many other OCD folks there are out there that buy everything they can, and then they're like, oh, fuck, I didn't need all this stuff.
What's the problem? You're buying multiple copies and you don't want them anymore?
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything specific, but it's like,
well, you were very concerned the other day when you called me, so I'm just trying to bring light to this. It sounded like a metal,
a metal meltdown.
Yeah, pretty much.
How many fucking picture discs of whatever do I need, and how many versions of?
Well, yeah, and then you're like, I'm gonna sell this one, and then so I can have the other one, and it's just like, are you that broke? Maybe you could just come to a common ground. I felt like I was talking to my child. I gotta be honest. So let's bring it back to
a store down the street that sells
dick candles.
And the guy goes, I think what happens is we get bored and we create our own problems. Because you think
that sounds like Eddie.
It does. So I'm like, back when this wax here is gonna drive me nuts. So back when for example, that COC Deliverance came out,
Corrosion of
Conformity. Yeah, I lived in Virginia before that, and then I moved down when I was 16 to North Carolina, where we lived in Charlotte, where we moved to. It was bad. So at some point, I heard this on the radio, and I'm like, it's not really heavy metal.
I've heard that song.
It was intriguing. As time went on, COC's from North Carolina. This was the new COC with Pepper singing, and this was after Blind came out, which I remember when my first introduction to Blind. Was Dance of the Dead video on Headbangers Ball. I still lived in Virginia outside D.C. The swing groove that song had did not sound like any of the COC I'd heard before.
So like the record of a band that a lot of people I guess were divided on.
Yeah.
You're on the other side of a divide.
Apparently I was. Cuz for what in the 80s, it's overkill and fucking nuclear assault, wargasm, bands like that for whatever reason, Forbidden, and
we've kind of heard this thought pattern play out,
right?
Where is as you stated, old man Nearly
I'm not that
50.
old.
Where are you at this then? Like, is this something that truly still bothers you at a nearly 50-year-old man?
No, none of it bothers me.
It sounds like it bothers you.
No, I think about it because it's like when that record came out, I was in college or just out of high school or something, and I couldn't have, it was like, well, I can buy the record, but I don't have a record player right now, so I buy the CD.
This is the 90s, yeah. There wasn't this crave for vinyl.
Yeah, and to go find the record was like tough.
Right.
But it was like I wanted it.
And that is your metal therapy problem right now.
Yeah.
Upon us.
Because I want to hear it on vinyl.
But you want an original. You don't want.
So you have to set that there. So you got to be careful, obviously, with the vinyl. And you just look at it and you go, holy shit, this is a fucking record. That's great. And then you look at, I don't know if you can see that centerpiece, which is on this side. And it's just fucking neat to hold that. And you actually have the physical being, even though it's not a living object. And then you slide it back in, and you're all careful. And there's some sort of care, I think, that goes to that like I think gets into you. And you look at the back of the LP, and you're like, side A, side B. Look at this artwork. There's a guy impaled in a flying V, and you're like, holy fucking shit. And you want to take care of that. It's something to take care of. It's not just your phone. That if you fucking crack the screen, you can go to the iPad store or whatever the hell it's called. Not Bill Gates, the other guy, the guy who's dead. And get a new phone, because if you fuck this record up, the record's fucked up forever. So it's like nearer and dearer, I think, to your heart. This is quite the soliloquy. Imagine being in 1980. I know Craig's laughing over there, and you buy the tape. And the tape gets fucking wound up in your tape player because your tape player sucks. And you're like, fuck! I mowed 5 lawns to buy Slayer, Rain and Blood! And it's destroyed. And there was no way to just buy, have mom and dad buy a new phone or whatever. It was gone forever. So you had to, so I'm running off on a tangent on this, but it's different. And I think that's why there's so many maybe bands nowadays, and it's a dime a dozen. And I think there's never going to be the Slayer, the Maiden, the Priest, the Dark Angels, the Morbid Angels, the big name bands, because guys, gals bought those records, and it was like, holy fucking shit, this is good shit. I got to keep this safe. Now it's like, I can delete it. Sorry, folks. That was
Let's play a record on the wrong speed. Help me hook that in there and put this plug in your hole. Down there, actually by your feet. That is the record player that we're probably gonna need. But hey, because previously, we're right here. Alex sent in some cool shit, and I'm gonna grab it.
Trust me, we're all tangled with the thing on the bottom that says CD that is now unplugged.
All right, I want to hear some fucking Heliophobia. I hear hiss.
The hiss is
Where are you
blocking
at?
me out.
No, yeah?
Where you at, bro? I'm right here, bro. Hey.
I think that exceeded the limit of 6-9 seconds.
It did. Well, it was a long intro.
Right. We had to give it credit. So, what'd you think, Eddie?
That's pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah. They're recorded at Custom Audio Mutation Studio in Akron. So, see, that's right down the street. All right, Adam sent in cattle decapitation. Have you ever listened to cattle decapitation, Eddie?
Only when I'm in the flying saucer.
What do you mean by that? Like the
No,
name cattle decapitation.
That's what has always brought connotations of.
Why a flying saucer?
Because of. Don't you watch all those UFO shows? There's cows decapitated or destroyed or something. Like that photo looks like, I can't tell from here if that reminds me of, like, it looks like they're in the desert. And so, like, near the desert, there's going to be cattle decapitated by UFOs.
All right. I
could be wrong. I could be wrong.
No. I think you might be the most insightful to that name. I don't want to.
That fade out with the vocals change.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And that's something you got to sit down and digest it. And they're on Metal Blade. Holy shit.
What is that surprising? Wow, they're on Metal Blade and it doesn't suck.
Right. It's fucking.
Thanks to Adam even being like, I love cattle decapitation. I'm sending you my fucking free downloads. So he mailed these in. And then we listened to him on the show, and then you're like, I think of aliens, and I think of Roswell, and I think of fucking Mulder and Scully, and X-Files. Like, holy fuck, what do you mean you don't know what the fuck cattle decapitation means?
Well,
if you didn't do any of that.
If I thought about Scully, I'd have left the studio.
So it gave it a second chance. It was a band that I didn't give a flying fuck about by name. This is Tribulation Horror, the Horror.
Oh, this is a great record.
Do you remember this record?
Absolutely.
There you go.
I think the LP looks different.
What? Have you ever gone to your CD collection and you just go, I'm going to listen to something I'm not in the mood for?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tribulation.
Well, no. Oh, yes, I do that, but I get. Don't apologize. They don't give a shit.
No, I know. It's just funny.
Tribulation was always a band I thought could bring in. There's a band called Tormented that I always thought.
Oh yeah,
did the same thing, that they kept some excitement in there. Whoa.
Exactly.
That cover.
All should look familiar because you've been paying so much attention to Reaper Metal. I just think it would be cool to embark to a point in time where you could just be like, listen to this. This is a friend. I bought his 7-inch, clearly.
And he signed it. I saw it. Hills Reaper, Die for Metal, something.
Exactly. And that's fucking cool.
Oh, the record player's plugged in over there. Alex.
That give me the...
You should come over to Reaper's house since you live down the street.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. That was more than 9 seconds.
She's like, you're pimping your stuff. Actually, that's pretty good. That's a great piece of vinyl too.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh, what the hell is that band? There's that band from Black Magic.
Okay.
You remember, so they'd have. That band was so cool because they would, in that one record they put out, there was black metal, death metal, rock and roll. And the vocals were very reverby like that. Grovelly, reverb. Just nothing conventional. It was song to song was a different. It was so cool. But they melded it together with the way they put it.
Records that everybody else loves.
Oh no!
But I did not. Death. I'm a late bloomer.
I get it.
I like the first 2. And I even made a video that said, I hate all their death. not in that kind of voice, but in that kind of fashion, because the internet really kind of had its way with me in that. Well, he said he hated the rest of the deaths. What a poser. And it's like, well, if he said he...
Poser. So you're a poser if you have your own opinion?
Right.
Isn't that weird?
Thank you, Eddie. That's exactly
weird.
what I was about to say.
Folks.
So this poser bought the Relapse edition, and I thoroughly enjoy this album. I gotta be honest, I've been missing out for these years. Like, certain records take different times to get into them, right? I think so. There's like been many a record that has taken a moment to get into.
Yeah, or if you're just, you know, a young kid and you've only got so much fucking chore money and mowing lawn money.
Definitely that, yeah.
You know,
Me.
it was just something that I didn't get into when I was young. So as I got older, I think by the time I got older, they were into some of that later, like the technical death metal stuff.
Yeah.
And it was great music, but it was like I just didn't want to spend my money on it because I don't know, maybe Nuclear Assault. I can't tell you exactly where I was with it, but like maybe Nuclear Assault was more interesting
because of Nuclear Assault.
yeah, because maybe that was more interesting to me. And that's just an example. It's not knocking Death.
Probably at that time, Nuclear Assault wasn't the band.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, because that would have been the '90s, right?
And it would have been like something wicked, and nobody cares about that record.
Yeah,
I don't think.
So and maybe and so I was in college, and it was probably COC. You had to pick your battles, and I picked my familiar battles, and honestly, I probably went more to the straight up heavy metal type stuff, which by that time I was really angry because Adrian left Maiden, and all my friends are listening to grunge.
Well then, moving on. This is a new band called Death. Fuck yeah! There you go, Eddie. Do you own this record, or are you going to? Because you were so compelled by that, hopefully 9 seconds, because it appeased the YouTube algorithm.
You probably know the story better than I do.
Yeah.
About Jim.
Ride
the lightning.
I love Motley Crue, really. Yo, I love that song. Ride the lightning.
I know it was Metallica.
Ride the lightning. Here it is. Eddie, 8 years ago.
There's Godzilla now.
Ungodly, lifestyles. So
your Bengali lifestyle, Eddie.
Ungodly.
5, it talks about the...
Eddie called up a religious service 8 years ago that he easily calculated, and
10 days.
And this is it.
That's Godzilla.
Through the Spirit. Through the Spirit is love, kindness, gentleness, patience, things like that.
Which
so
book
that's
were you
not
I love how this guy's like the true spirit of love.
which Bible verse was that? I want to write that.
Let me jot down that scripture there.
No, through the Spirit, this is verse 22.
I don't know.
So it's Galatians 5:19 it starts with. And here's the opposite. The fruit of the Spirit is love, to love people unconditionally, joy,
What an asshole. Put the
chimes in there.
peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lusts.
Damn, what a fucking list.
So
I know.
if you listen
It's
to
like,
heavy music
how
and
do you
become
keep up?
lustful, or you agree with fornication or whatever,
Well, I feel very lascivious
Right?
at times. You said
Lascivious. That's good for a 15-year-old. Or are you even 15?
I don't remember what
that
I
music
was
makes
doing.
me feel. If we're made in the image
You
of
are,
God,
but I
then
mean,
He's
he gives
making
you-
that music too, right? Or am I wrong? Is that the devil?
music.
no, you're wrong. That's the devil. It's like this. God made us in His
Oh, he
image,
knows.
but He also gives people a choice. So you can do what you want with your life, Manny, but you also...
Manny.
So if you look
That's
at
right. I was
Adam
Manny.
and Eve believed the devil,
Forgot about that.
and they were deceived, and the devil swore them, you surely will not
Oh,
die.
that
Well,
fucking
they didn't
devil.
die physically right away. They died spiritually. So God made them leave Eden so that they would no longer have a relationship with
He
him.
left
He
Eve.
would
Oh, that was
come and
Freud.
talk with them
Fuck,
and
I got tired of her
enjoy each
mouth.
other.
I just
And
left.
That's what he said, be fruitful and multiply. But because he believed what the devil says, and it sounds like you're doing the
I
same
believe
thing.
I'm the
Sometimes
devil.
things are all to gratify your flesh.
But sometimes it's not even the flesh.
Sorry?
I listen to heavy metal music, and back when I read about
think I was
the
getting
80s and 90s when there was the Cold
fired
War
up.
and there was going to be world destruction and the end of the world, just like it said in the Bible, and heavy metal music sings about that, but people say it's bad then, but I read in the Bible it says the same thing, and I don't understand why one would be wrong and the other would be right just because it's written in a book versus being sing about.
Well, it's like this.
Versus being
you
sing
know
about.
yourself that heavy metal does not glorify
Fucking
God, that glorifies
First
self.
off, Manny, you
and
sound like
lust
you're
and sex
40.
and all that, right? I don't know if you know, but we're made of body, soul, and spirit.
I don't know if you know.
Spirit man is made
what did he
in
say?
Christ's image and
I don't know
wants
if
to
you
be
know.
like Christ.
Oh.
Your flesh wants to be like Adam and Eve and live in the
Who's the
flesh
dick
and
that
do
did
what
that?
feels good,
I have no
have
idea.
sex, all that kind of junk. And your soul is what's having
I don't know
the
if you
battle
know,
going on
Manny,
that you're
but
talking
your
about right
body's
now. So if your soul, your mind, will, and emotions agrees with what the Spirit says, you'll get rid of the heavy metal and realize what a detriment it's going to be to your life and possible eternal destruction.
What should
Where
I
if
listen
you
to
agree with the
then?
Holy Spirit, pardon me?
What should I listen to?
Well, I would definitely not listen to
I would
heavy
definitely-
metal because it doesn't glorify God.
Why don't you like that?
Pardon me?
Why is that not good?
Because generally
I
there's a
love your
beat to
voice.
it that's not
Why is that
godly.
not good?
And
Why
if
is
you
that not
do
good?
some research, you'll find a lot of the beat comes from ungodly worship.
beat.
And
Oh, I remember this.
sometimes,
I
Like,
remember
what the
this.
fuck
I've
are you
heard
talking
testimonies where
about,
people
dude?
were
rock and roll
the
beat.
devil, that they had a
What?
demon.
Yeah.
And they recognized that certain beats really got them excited and was giving a message to our
God forbid
spirit
you'd have a
man
good time.
that was ungodly.
Dancing
God
to music.
did.
What do you
He
listen
did.
to? Do you think me listening to heavy metal music with the beat that's driven maybe by sex, drugs, and rock and roll will make me have cancer and maybe like even die from it and then go to hell because I listen to driving music with
Driving.
beats? I play guitar and I play drums. I don't know what else to do with my life then
you
if I
play
don't have
drums.
music. What should I do?
You need to know that you make choices,
need to
Manny, and it's your free choice. But why, if you
my
want to go
free
to
choice.
heaven, you believe there's a heaven, and you don't want to go to hell, why would you, it's like playing Russian roulette. Why would you take a chance?
Is that's enough, right?
Yeah, I think that was the point. I probably beat that one to death, but that guy dragged it on too.
Yeah, and that was years ago, and we're rehashing what we published.
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's pretty
it-
funny. I think looking back, 8 years ago?
I think that's what we calculated. What about the photo?
What about the photo?
Another photo.
No, we already. Let's see it off. Your individual thought patterns.